At the Valley this morning. Lads are working on shape.
2 full days in the executive lounges.
Blagged it again. It's absolutely outrageous. And
This is a former Premier League ground, and with Sasha Illich sorted us out recording here yesterday. And I don't know, I mean, there's places in London charge £300 for a recording room, and we're just like, are we all right coming back tomorrow?
By the way, there's a collector's item here.
Chris Brown, world-class goal.
In that goal, the Jimmy Seed stand, one of the best goals of all time, someone said.
I would say your career, not of all time. Come on.
I'm going to send Matty the video. It was 2, I think we beat them 2-1. And I was good that day.
We get it playing now, up on screen.
Should we do it?
Yeah. Mike Bassett this week. Mike Bassett.
Dave.
You went in so confident as well with a clap. We've got a lot of Crazy Gang stuff, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like the proper Crazy
I've
Gang.
heard so many stories of even lads that have been managed by him.
An absolute football legend, I would say. Everybody knows Harry Bassett, don't they?
Oh, we've got a winner as well from our new subscriber shirt competition. So we'll have that in the outro.
Right, let's get him in. Dave, Harry, Mike, Bassett.
Oh, lads are up. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Pleasure.
Or do we go with Harry? Dave, what was it when? Do you remember John?
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah, John, in the youth team and that. Yeah, I remember John. Big centre forward. He was, one of the boys who was going to be the golden generation. He didn't quite get there, but he was not far off.
Injury. If you remember, I was going to go to FF Yarrow, I think it were, in Finland, were it?
That's right, yeah.
Would you not go?
That's how much he fancied us. He want to send me to fucking Finland
No,
for 6 months.
Major players went to Sweden and Finland and Norway that I sent. It's a great experience out there, and it makes you different. You're in the first team every week.
Toughen up.
You're better than that, other than in the reserves and that. I mean, at Wimbledon, Dennis Wise, Glenn Hodges, Corky, they all went out there and played for it. And Vinny went out. They put, before he even signed for us.
Yeah.
When he signed him from Wildstone, I signed him. I said, no, fuck off to Sweden until till August and come back. And he thought he was going to get in the team, didn't he? As soon as he come back, shut up.
Would you just have contacts over there you could ring up and say,
I
lad?
know Roy Hodgson well. Roy used to, and and all of them did well. They all did well for me, over there. None of them messed about, and they've still got relationships there now. No, it's
Did you refuse to go,
good.
John?
No, I was going, but I needed an operation on my groins.
Oh, right.
As if I'd refused to go. No, 17, 18, fuck that.
No, you'd have a great time out there.
I wish I'd have gone. I think, yeah.
Yeah,
Got injured, so I couldn't.
Where does Harry come from?
It's my old man's name, really. He was Harold. When I was at school, there was a lot of Daves in the senior sort of school, and one of my mates, Tony, he just started harrying me, you hear me, and I became Harry, and and it just sort of stuck with me. I mean, it was good for Wimbledon loved it because it was the time Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry and that. So when we've beaten Liverpool up or beaten the Spurs up, particularly, it was Clint Eastwood and me there with the guns firing and that. So the press called it me. The funny part was when I was at Southampton with Harry Redknapp. There was a couple of times somebody said Harry, and I spoke up. He said, "Fuck off, it's me."
Know your players.
Yeah.
Were you at Chelsea when you were?
Yeah, I was released at Chelsea. Yeah, went to Augsburg and played in the youth tournament and everything else, and that was one of my first interesting things. We played this Italian side, and I pulled out of a tackle, and Ronnie Harris said, "You ever pull out of a fucking tackle again, I'll kill you." And so I thought, I ain't pulling out of any more tackles.
So you just go on to play part-time?
Yeah, I went to Hayes. I went and played there, and I was in the team at 17 and doing well, scoring goals. And so it was great. I was like first team football playing against men, and I learned a lot there, with Hayes. And then during that time, Watford came for me when I was 20. And I went there on trial. But when he offered me terms, but I was earning more than they were offering me because I was working for an insurance company. I had a car, I had a cheap mortgage. And I thought, well, if if it was a big club, Watford were in the 3rd Division South sort of thing at that time. I just thought, no, I'm not sure it's for me. You hear me? And I also, I sussed a little bit. I thought I'm not really going to be bought by Leeds United or Manchester United or Chelsea. I knew my limitations to an extent. I was decent and that, but I made a mistake. I left Watford and joined Hendon, who were the top, non-league side at that time, and I missed out playing at Wembley because what happened is in the quarter. It wasn't the quarter. Was it the quarterfinals round? It was. We beat Wickham. I didn't play. I had the flu, but Jimmy Quayle, who was a really good player who played for him, and he broke his leg. So I was playing on the Tuesday, and I thought on the Sunday I'd go out and have a little game with my mates, and keep fitness up. And I broke my bloody leg, didn't I, on the Sunday? No. So both of us missed the final at Wembley. So I missed playing at Wembley.
For a game of Sunday League?
Yeah, Sunday League with a mate. Thick really. You're just thinking, hold on, I shouldn't be doing this. You weren't meant to, because I didn't play every week for him, but he just said, you want to play? I was just getting over the flu, and I thought, they'd run out, and of course it worked against me.
What kind of player were you? Did you get stuck in?
Yeah, I was more up front in the early days in those, for Hayes when I scored goals. I scored about 27 one year, and I was quite quick and that, and I wasn't the best finisher. I took a couple, to finish. But yeah, I've up there. But then when I broken my leg and I didn't play for 18 months, and I went back to Hayes and got in the team, and then this guy Alan Batsford, who was manager of a team called Walton and Hersham, who were a good side, but then he liked me and I got in, and I was then playing midfield. When after the broken leg I ended up going back to midfield, I was playing either an attacking midfield player or sort of holding. I just sat in there holding and kicked shit out of anybody.
When you went to Wimbledon, am I right in saying you won the league 3 years on the trot? Yeah,
that's right. Well, what happened is Alan Batsford, after we won the Amateur Cup, I stayed another year, but we lost our 2 strikers to Hendon, who paid more money, and we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. Then Alan Batsford went to Wimbledon. He was asked to go to Wimbledon, and he asked me and 4 other players to go to Wimbledon with him, and that to join up with the others. And it worked out. With a small squad, we won the championship 3 years on the trot. The first year, we knocked Burnley out the FA Cup in the 3rd round. We won 1-0 up there, Leighton James and that mob. And then we had the draw at Ellen Road, where I give a penalty away. And I was delirious. Fucking Eddie Gray went past me. I was convinced he hadn't. I had a row with a fucking referee, didn't I? I said to him, you need Specsavers. Well, they weren't Specsavers then. It was, tested his eyesight. He said, you got a telly? I said, yeah. He said, I suggest you watch it tonight. He said, because I think you'll find it was a penalty. Dead rang. Eddie came in. I just kicked him in the shin, didn't I? but Dickie saved the penalty, so he was the hero. It made him. And then we lost 1-0 in the replay, 49,000 at Crystal Palace. Johnny Giles shot, it came off my knee. Didn't get. Dickie shouted, keeper. I've tried to move out quick, and it's just caught me on the knee and deflected past him. So it was good. They were a fucking good side. They were.
It must have been frustrating back then, winning the league, and because you had to get voted in.
Yeah, you couldn't get promoted in. So Ron Nodes, who became the chairman, I knew he was running a team called Southall, and Wimbledon was struggling, and I said to Ron, why don't you come and have a word with Bernie? Step up from where you want. He was ambitious. So he set up and he joined us halfway through the 2nd season, when we won it. And then what he did is he went round the country, getting votes from other clubs.
So you had to get votes from other clubs to get promoted?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Even if you won the league?
Yeah,
you won the conference?
3 years on the trot we won it,
So going around campaigning?
Pardon?
Going around campaigning?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, so he campaigned and we got in. Southport got kicked out, I think it was at the time.
Ruthless, isn't it? Is it just like schmoozing?
Yeah, well, it didn't happen very often. I mean, if we hadn't won the league 3 years on the trot, it wouldn't be like it was now.
Put yourself in good stead.
I can't believe some of the crowds that you're playing in front of for like non-league football.
Yeah, well, Walton and Hersham, they wouldn't. We used to get 3,500. Wimbledon was low, but when we had the good games, there was 6,000 or 7,000 or 8,000 there. I mean, as I say, with the cup run, I mean that was brilliant. with the Leeds. That made it, you know.
Yeah.
And as I say, we got into the league, but we were getting all old then at that time.
I was going to say, how old were you when you finally made your league debut?
I think it was about 33 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and we were part-time as well, but we had a good side. We had some good players, you know. We were, you know, we knew what we were doing. You know, when we played Leeds, we had some, you know, me and Selwyn, Rice and Ian Cook in midfield. We didn't have no shit from anybody, you know. I mean, you know, Rice, Billy Bremner did Ricey lovely just as he shot, you know. Said, he's got you, Selwyn.
Did you know what
it was funny there because there was a row, wasn't there? And everybody thought, you know, it was there. And Johnny Giles come out up and he was having a mouth. And I said, oh, fuck off, what do you know? And I poked him straight in the eye. He went fucking Garrity, didn't he? I wish I could have said I meant to do it, but I didn't. It was one of those. And everybody thought I'd done him, you know, a bit of credence, you know. But, you know, I mean, now when you see the tackling and compared with what was going on in those days.
You played a massive integral part in the birth of Wimbledon, well, within the rise. You got the owners in. Yeah. You're playing in the promotion year, first year in the league, and then obviously moving into...
I played all the 3 years we won the championship. And then what happened is, you know, after that Swansea game, Alan Batsford at Christmas resigned. And to be fair, Ron offered me the job then. Yep, and, but I said, look, I want to, you know, I've got my coaching badges and that. I said, I'd like to, but I said, I'm not experienced enough. You know, I'm part-time, I'm not full-time. And he said, well, I'm going to appoint Dario as manager, he said. I said, all right. He said, well, I'll have a word with him and see if he's prepared to work with you as assistant manager. How's that? So I said, yeah, if he's prepared. But no, he was good. And it was a great 3 years. Dario kept us up that year. He got promoted the following year. Then he got relegated. And then halfway through the next season, I became manager. That season in 1981, when I took over, Ron Nodes then went to Crystal Palace. He bought Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
He bought Crystal Palace and left Sam Aman at Wimbledon. And I got promoted to manager and Dario went to the Palace.
So when did you decide that it was maybe time to put your own stamp on in terms of a direct football?
Get it on the pitch.
The Wimbledon way.
Yeah. It was that year. Well, the year after we got relegated, I went to the World Cup and, you know, in... where I forget where it was. Anyway, I'd seen somebody playing with a sweeper and I liked it. And we were top of the league, but we were... I wasn't convinced, you with me, you know. And I'm thinking, you know, I was brought up on direct football to be. Alan Batsford was direct, and I thought, no, you know, I've got to do it. And we lost a couple of games. Anyway, we had a fortnight break, and I decided we were going to change. We were going to go 4-2-4 or 4-2-3. 4 or whatever it is, you know, to get it. We was going, man. We went. We were
decent.
We were going basically man for man.
Yeah.
If you were the right winger, you had to win your battle against your left back. If the right back can't cope, fuck him, we'll get someone else. I mean, that team that got us out we won the 4th Division Championship. Well, we were there. We ended up, and I said we were going to change. Wally and Odds didn't want to play the way I wanted to play. They were anti it.
I was going to say, were there any pushback?
Yeah, you know, so, but they, you know, to be fair to them, they got on with it.
Did you do shape and stuff on the training pictures, how you wanted to play? Get out the fullbacks?
Yeah, I did shape every day, nearly. Yeah.
Just drill it into the players?
Pardon?
Just drill it into the players exactly.
They were drilled. Yeah, I mean, there was no messing. I mean, you know, off the field we could have a laugh, but when we was working, they didn't fuck about then if they knew I had the hump, you know. I mean, like Frenchie had come in, he's got the bastard head on, don't upset him.
Who's Frenchie?
Yeah, and call Frenchie the physio.
Derek French, physio.
Yeah, physio, and that Frenchie. And then Corky used to be, when he'd do, come on lads, we'll be running round the windmill, because I sometimes used to send them off on a 3-mile run if they got me hump. Go on, fuck off, see you.
Fuck off to the windmill.
And of course, Corky and Wally and people who hated running and Hodges, they used to have the raving hump, didn't they? The ones who were good runners just went off, didn't they? And that, yeah.
On Derek French, so you had Frenchie physio right from the start, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we got him. He was recommended. He was at Barnet, actually. We had a fella called Owen Harris who was the physio then. there. But Owen had his own business, and he found that he was getting it with the travelling and everything else because he was like part-time, and that he'd been that. And a pal of mine knew about Frenchie, who was a good mate of Vinnie Jones's, funny enough. And we took him there, and he's a character, Frenchie. He's fast and quick, and
his quote is, speaking of you, he did say I was the best signing he ever made, but he also called me an insignificant little turd.
That about sums him up. Yeah, that about sums him up. I mean, he was brilliant, Frenchie. Like the thing, he had a machine, like it was an ultrasound, and he used to talk to the players and convinced them, yeah, you'll be all right with this ultrasound. And half the time it wasn't even on. He was just rubbing it there. I feel much better. Yeah, that's very, very astute and that, and very sharp, and that, and he could banter as well.
Yeah, he did have a good crack.
And that, basically, we did a lot of shape. I worked them, the players and set plays. We were brilliant at set plays.
Well, I don't know whose idea it was that City and Chelsea a bit feisty game.
With VAR and all, like, he's surely thinking there's a chance of a red in there.
We said there'd be a red card between City and Chelsea, and, well...
There wasn't.
There should have been, but there wasn't.
So,
which
congratulations.
tackle you meaning?
Congratulations, everyone who took up the Fairplay bet. Huge thanks once again to Fairplay for sponsoring the series. You been enjoying it?
Yeah, very much so.
Yes, agreed.
Tight last week, wasn't it? But
We had our fivers on who'd lose the most weight this week.
Well, we didn't really. I didn't have my fiver on. Because there was no
you
chance.
ruled yourself out early. But
I was
you kept
confident.
no, you weren't, because you went on holiday.
I know.
Well, if you were wrongly confident.
So we had a weigh-in earlier, and Christopher, congratulations, you are £10 richer.
But only £1 lower.
And John, you are also £10 richer.
Just round my ass.
So this week we're going to play to your strengths. We've got a live show Friday.
Yeah, we have.
Who can drink? And I'm shit at this one. Who can drink a
We're going to
pint?
film this.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
The quickest.
Pint challenge. It'll be a slow race, but a good race.
Never
a
made a
close
buff.
race.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
five
if
is in.
you've not already got involved with the Fairplay, you just bet with your mates. No bookies, bit of fun with your mates, like we've just done. I bet you a fiver I can down a pint quicker than you. But then, if you're playing golf, I think it's perfect. Game of FIFA.
Quick, yeah.
It's just all about having a bit of competitive
And Fairplay
fun.
don't take no commission, do they?
No commission whatsoever.
Put a fiver in a piece and the tenner's coming out one way or other.
And we've got our Cosh bet. It's International Week, isn't it? What we're betting, Chris?
All the British nations
Yep.
remain unbeaten. So we've got Northern Ireland. I don't know who they're playing. Scotland, Wales, England.
So we're saying
Unbeaten.
none of them are going to lose.
None of them are going
None of them
to
are
lose.
going to lose.
So a fiver on none of the British teams to lose.
You keep changing
yeah.
your voice in this intro, in this advert, Chris.
And your technique.
I had a little
Yeah.
fiver with Matty, how many different voices I could get.
But no, please do gamble responsibly. It's just a little bit of fun, and you've got to be over 18 to
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. And so if you're not already involved, just download the Fairplay app, use the code COSH, and then you'll get our bets sent to you. And then you can have a bet with your mates as well.
I mean, how did you even find some of these players? I didn't even realise Nigel Winterburn was at Wimbledon.
Yeah, I mean, he was a free transfer from Birmingham. I met Nigel, on the A40 near London. I got out, shook hands. It was the wettest fucking hand I've ever felt in my life. I thought, this is one of my crunching left backs, is it? Fucking roll on.
So you meant wet as in soft, not
Soft, yeah,
just washed his hands?
Yeah, a little weak, yeah. It wasn't a firm, he was always a firm handshake. Nigel's was... anyway, he came in and trained with us. Anyway, what happened is Gagey was playing left back. I moved Gagey to left back. He was right-footed. He could do it, you with me? Anyway, we were playing Chelsea that night. Anyway, Gagey's got a little problem with his leg. And Frenchie said, "Oh yeah, I'll take him off, Harry." And I thought, yeah, we got the game Saturday, take him off. So I thought I'll throw Nigel on. Let's see what he does. Well, nothing for a few minutes, and all of a sudden he's picked the ball up and he's fucking slung it about 50 yards. Did I see what I saw? And then all of a sudden Phil Driver, who was it playing for them? We'd sold him to Chelsea and everything else. Quick, all of a sudden he's gone. I thought, this is interesting. Nigel's glided up, took the ball for him, no problems at all. Then all of a sudden he's gone into a crunching tackle with Kerry Dixon, and got up and poked him. And I thought, fucking hell, what's happened here? He was there. Anyway, he played that Saturday. He was player of the season for the 4 seasons he was there. Absolutely brilliant, yeah. Left back, yeah.
If you had your way, you'd have sold him after the handshake.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I'd sent him back.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Good lad as well, Nigel. Yeah, I mean that side, if we come to later in the in the top division, was unbelievable. But as I say, that was Nigel joined us in we'd won the 4th division championship. He came the following season when we got promoted with Oxford in the 3rd division at that time. And there were some good sides around then. We'd matured, I mean, a lot of our players had played well over 100 games, even though they were still only 21 or 22. And we had a great spirit as well. And that off the park and that, they used to go out. I mean, they used to meet up midweek and go and have down the pub and do the business and, go pulling birds or whatever they were doing.
Were you happy with that? Because obviously you made this
Yeah, I made it
a crazy gang and everything about it.
Yeah, we made it. I wanted them to enjoy themselves because our facilities and all that want the best in the world.
All about togetherness. You're happy for them to go out and cause a bit of trouble.
You're past the team. I mean, you're telling them to be careful. One or two things got a bit close on one or two occasions, because we had a few nutters. Wally Downs was a nutter, and Mark Morris when he was on his going, Odge could be. And that, and
did it go too far sometimes?
Yeah, I heard it did a few times. We had to,
you just turn a blind eye.
Yeah. You have to, sort of thing. You got to. But I was brought up in non-league, see, and we had a good laugh. I wanted to laugh after that. I enjoyed it. Have a beer, we go out and play hard. Live good. Good, and the players were good. They were good together. They built a spirit. They were all for one. They were in there, and they were characters. So I was lucky. That there was plenty who had knew what they wanted. Besant was good. Downs was a terrific. He's a good coach and knew what he was doing. Bright as a button. Wally Hodges knew what he was doing. A good player. Corky knew. They were all quite bright. And Winterburn was quiet, but he knew what he was doing. Again, before we got up, I mean, I don't know if you. First of all, we got out of 3rd division, okay, and my contract was up and Sam was being a bit awkward with me, and Ron Nodes came and offered me the Palace job, and Ron convinced me, because I'd known Ron, I used to go to school with his brother, and Ron ran a youth side that I used to play in at that time. I mean, I wasn't buddy with Ron, but I knew him, and he'd been at Wimbledon, and, I'd got him to Wimbledon via Southall. He went to Palace, and he convinced me Palace was better equipped, bigger crowds, bit more money. Not that he was offering me much more money. I think he thought I just didn't deserve it. But I accepted it, and then I went away, and that night, I went to a dinner to football writers, and a few people said, "Harry, what are you doing? You and Nosey fall out in no time at all," which I wouldn't have done because I knew how to handle Ron to some extent. And then I woke up and I thought, no, I don't want to. I think I've got a good side here. And it proved to. We went to Palace Boxing Day and killed them 5-0 over at Sellers Park.
Had you signed the contract?
Yeah, well, no, I hadn't signed the contract,
But had it been released in the press or anything like that?
It was there on a Saturday morning. I was going there, but the door was still open. Sam never forgive me for going.
So did you ring Sam up and say, "Do you know what?
Yeah. Well, Stanley Reid, who was the chairman, sort of was there, and I just said no, I want to, and I just rang Stanley in the morning. I said, look, I've got second doubts. I don't really want to go to Palace. You know, do you still want me back at Wimbledon? He said, of course we do. You know, we haven't got a manager. And it was the best thing I did because our team was good. And the Palace team weren't very good at all. They had a lot of older players, Jim Cannon, you know, they were all okay, but they weren't going to buy into what I wanted to do.
Did the relationship with Summerman change from that point?
No, not really. He was still okay, but he never forgive me. You know, I mean, I still speak to him now. He's in Lebanon, you know, and I mean, you know, he never paid me fuck all really. I made him a multi-millionaire with that team.
Yeah. How was the conversation with Ron Nodes when you said you didn't fancy
to be fair, they all the press, everybody thought Ron had done something to upset me, and he hadn't. I just said, Ron, no, I've made a mistake. You've convinced me. Because it was you, I thought, yeah, it's gone. I thought, I just don't feel right. I don't feel it's right for me. You know, I said it'd be wrong for me to come, and I don't want to come. And he was all right. And I tried to say it to the press, but they all thought that Ron had done something. Yeah. But it turned out right because Stevie Coppell went there, and that worked out well for him.
Just going back to that crazy gang mentality, was that by design from you? Did you sign lunatics?
No, not really. I knew I wanted people with characters. I mean, you know, when I was in that Walton team, and then when I come to Wimbledon, you know, with Dickie Guy and all that, you know, I was messing about, and we had, you know, the other people like Roger Connell and Kieran Summers and Billy Edwards who were good lads, you know, and we created a spirit, you know, and Wimbledon boys bought into it as well. You know, I mean, Dickie used to come in with a, you know, tie on, a jacket, a suit and everything else. And we're all turning up in fucking tracksuits and jeans. What are you doing, Dick, you silly cunt? You're playing football. You know? Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have used that word.
It's all right.
Oh, so it was yeah, Dick, what the fuck are you doing? You know, he was in the toilet one day, and I slung carbolic over the top of the toilet.
Through what?
Carbolic. It's a cleaner, you know. Like, and Dick was going to use. So he's got hold of me and said, "We're going to have a fight. Come on, let's go in the boot room and have it out." I said, "Oh, shut up, you prick!" I said, but then he turned into a nutter, Dick. After that, he become
into it.
Yeah, we every team I played for, you know, the spirit is there. You know, you got to have characters. You can't, you know, when you do that, it's a hard way to manage. They're going to speak up. They're going to do things. They're not going to just go along and agree with you. But I'd rather that than players play for me who walk out the door, he's a wanker, or, you know, there's this, that and the other. It was very hard because, you know, I used to be, when we was out or we went to end of season tour and all that, there was a, you know, I was Harry. They just called me Harry, and, you know, they'd take the piss or whatever it was, and, you know, various things. I mean, you know, on one particular occasion, we was in Spain, and we was there, and we was, you know, I don't know, we're talking at the edge of the pool and everything else, and we're doing, and these two birds and everything else, they were there. All of a sudden, I've gone with her chair. She's gone head first straight in the pool. And all of a sudden, I thought, shit, I better go in and get her out. So I've dived in there, and I'm getting her, and I can feel something tugging at me. And Wally's trying to get me swimming trunks off while I'm getting her out there under the pool. He succeeded. So she's come out. Anyway, there's a bit of a kerfuffle and that. Anyway, like, but in the end, I just got out naked, and then all of a sudden the managers come. I want you slung out of the hotel. Who's the manager? So I've gone to Jeff, my assistant, him. So he's gone to Jeff. He's got to go, and Wally had to go as well.
He's got to go.
Who's the manager?
Yeah.
So do you know, like, if that's how you were, like, you can't really reprimand your players if they take it a little bit too far.
That's
with
right.
the crap.
No, you've got to get characters, you know. I mean, there's a time, you know, and you have to go along with it. If you live on that edge a bit, you know, with it, there's going to be times where, you know, people are going to criticise you or be what it was. But you had that feeling for one another, you know. It was all together that we wanted to operate.
Would you ever sort of say to any of the lads, like, just go and start a fight?
What do you mean?
In the dressing room or in the tunnel?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we used to, when I first took over and all that, most of the way home, we used to have a bundle, didn't we? All fighting one another on the way home from Darlington or Shrewsbury or wherever it was in the coach. Ray Lewington come on as join us, and it was all beating Ray up because Dario was a favourite. Dario was ex-Chelsea, and he was telling us how great Ray was and all this. And so Ray become the golden boy. Yeah, we ain't having that. Come on, lads. And you know, it was part and parcel. It did. I mean, you know, when I was at Sheffield United, Bradshaw and Ed Kelly had a bundle. You know, Ed had a joint, and Bradshaw, now then, what you on, you Irish twat or something like that. You know, and you know, so it was all part of the bonding and everything else.
I remember growing up, like new players that signed for Wimbledon always got it, didn't they? Was that just a part of the culture?
Yeah.
A new signing came in, something would happen, like the
if you couldn't. We had a goalkeeper from Lincoln, he couldn't deal with it. Ian Holloway couldn't deal with it. You know, Ian thought we bullied, you know, and Ian's a great little lad and he was there, but he didn't really do enough. He would come from Bristol and, you know, they're taking a piss. Oh, that was a stinger, wasn't it? You know, taking and so you either sort of sank or swam. You know, it was important. I mean, I suppose people would call it bullying now, whatever it was, but it was all part and parcel. You know, no, they didn't. You know, you didn't get hurt. They weren't there. But it bred a thing where, you know, if you made a mistake, they were onto you. You with me? I didn't sometimes have to bother. You know, Corky would be coming in and having a row with you because you ain't done your job at a set play or all that. You know, they were all into it there, and you took it. Vinnie in the first period, you know, was making mistakes. He was getting well coated, you know, well and truly. But he knew it was part of the upbringing to bring you together and that, and makes them for what they've done. You know, they've all had, you know, decent careers. They've been, you know, they're prepared to stand up and be counted. There's some embellished stories. Don't worry about Wimbledon. I've heard them one or two on podcasts and that, and I'm thinking, yeah, hold on, you got that wrong. I mean, you know,
I can't imagine Vinnie Jones having a wet handshake.
No, Vinnie, no.
How did you find him?
We released him. He came to us at 15, and I said no, he wasn't good enough, you know, with the youth and that. And then he went back and he played. He ended up playing for Alan Bassett, that manager I told you had. He played for Wealdstone. And Alan come back. He said that he's ready. He's ready to come. He said he's enthusiastic. He's fit as a fiddle. He's strong. He's a good character down on it. And you know, we signed him.
Watching some of his tackles, do you ever think, oh fucking hell, Vinny, that's a bit too?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, he was dozy, you know, at times, wasn't he? I mean, what about when he was playing for Sheffield United? He's sent off in 4 seconds. Just went through Peter Reid. As soon as it went back, Vinny flattened him, you know. And you know, so I ain't too happy about that being dopey. Do you know what I mean? As well, you know, that wasn't part of the character. That was being a complete idiot, you know. And that, but it was a side that stood up for itself and that, you know, and believed in it. They believed in the end the way they were playing. It wasn't necessarily the way they wanted to play. Gagey, Wally, Hodge would want to play a bit different. Winterburn was quite happy with the way he was. The rest of the boys were there. But I mean, yeah, I look at it, that team, you know, we eventually got up to the top league, and that first season we got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We knocked Everton out, who were the cup holders. We nearly went out in the first round. We were 2-0 down to Sunderland, going into extra time, and we come back and won it. And then we beat Portsmouth 4-0. Alan Ball got fucked off there. They beat us in a league game, didn't they? And he was giving it plenty. So they said to him after the game, that's the final and the nth lesson, Bally. You've just been done fucking 5-0 in the cup.
Was it like an us and them thing? Was it like an us and them mentality where you loved the fact that people were like, oh, fuck me, it's Wimbledon?
Yeah, well, we knew in the end, we could tell that teams didn't fancy it. They knew we were fit. We were fucking fit. You know.
Could you beat some teams in the tunnel?
But
Yeah. With them characters.
Yeah, and Wimbledon's Plough Lane was a good playing surface. It wasn't the most salubrious, but you think it's like Millwall. Nobody likes going to Millwall, you know, we just knew that the thing was we were strong, we were strong, we were big, we and they knew we was good at corners and things like that, and they didn't take any prisoners, and we went for the ball. We made good runs as well. We never stood there. You at least had a run of more than 10 yards because you got to lose the player. Where he, if he's grabbing hold of your shirt or something and you're running away from him, then it's a problem. You with me? Yeah, it was. The players bought into it and they believed in it. And in the end, it was like clockwork. I didn't have to say anything because they more or less they policed their own dressing room. Yeah. Because if you messed up, you were told you didn't need to be told by me. But I mean, that team that finished sixth in the league as well. I mean, right at the end, we won 1-0 at Old Trafford. Wisey scored. I mean, I signed Wisey, the year before. He was 18, he made his debut against Sheffield United. And
had he been released from Southampton?
Yeah, he wanted a release. He couldn't agree terms with Laurie McMenemy. And he Wisey, if he gets the hump with you, he got it.
That's it.
And then we managed to, he was trained at Crystal Palace, and I found out, and our scout went over and said, come, Harry, and Wally knew his dad, so he came, good player, Wisey. And he Wisely scored the winner with 10 men. We beat Manchester United at Old Trafford 1-0, and then we went to Liverpool and beat them 2-1, and Everton won at Arsenal, and they won the league on that one again with players who were good. I mean, we had a 23-man squad, and 13 in that squad come through the youth team. Gagey, the youth team. Brian Gale, the youth team. Andy Thorne, the youth team. Mark Morris, the youth team. Wally Downs, the youth team, Glyn Hodges, the youth team, Fishington, the youth team. Yeah, we had 13.
That's remarkable.
There were some boys like Simon Tracy and Gannon who were through the youth team, but they didn't play that year. You with me? So we had, and Andy Sayer came through the youth team. So we had 13 players out of 23 who had cost the club no money, and that.
You got four promotions with them players.
Yeah. Well, there were 7 of those players played in all the leagues, the fourth division, third division, second division, and the top. 7 players played in all those leagues to get to the top and have games.
That's mad, because now if one player makes that journey, it's like, and you've got 7.
There's a kid at Luton, isn't there, who's done it?
I think
through the way.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's unusual, but for us, when you talk about that team, that Sam sold that team that I got there for over 10 million quid.
Back
then,
you did make him some money, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, Bassett went for 900 grand. To Newcastle. Thorney went for 900. Wisey went for 1.65 to Chelsea. Fash went to Aston Villa for 1.5. Gagey went to Aston Villa for 300. Hodge went to Newcastle for 300. They should have been more. Vinny went to Leeds for 600 grand.
And with that, are you in charge of wages, contracts?
I was, I did the whole lot. Yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I did the lot. I did all the wages, transfers. I used to do the deals with the transfers and everything else. Totally what a manager is. A manager now doesn't do those things. He can't. The times change. But I did everything,
When it came to leaving, was that a reason for leaving?
Well, it was because I couldn't agree with Sam. Sam, all the fans are singing "There's only one Dave Bassett." Sam felt he'd saved the club, and he should have been appreciated. No credit, and he was being awkward with the contract, and that. So it was
time to move on.
Summer man,
It was, again, we used to have a bit of friction. We were played West Ham in the FA Cup, and we'd had a draw, and there was a fiasco on the tickets, and I sort of said more or less so-and-so, and we were trained at Bishop Abbey, and Alan Gillette, who was my assistant, come out and said, Sam's on the phone, he wants you. I said, tell him to fuck off, I'm training. And Alan said, fuck off. No, Sam wants to speak to you. He said, David, get in your car and come up to the club. I want to speak to you. I said, I'm training you. I want to speak to you. You're the manager and this, that and the other. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, I've upset him. What's he going to do? Anyway, he's got a load of paper like you've got there. And he's gone, David, that's out of order. You're stepping up your things. He said, if you don't behave, he said, this is what your contract's worth to me, and tore it out and threw it in the box. Just to let me know that he was in charge.
What was he saying that you were doing?
Because I'd criticised the club for about the tickets for the replay or whatever it was, and
Just so you get back in your
yeah,
place.
he wanted to, yeah. You know, he felt he wasn't getting the credit. And so, in the end, but of course, you know, I went to Watford, which was a mistake, but I didn't know what to go. It seemed the ideal move, but it wasn't the ideal move, really, because Graham Taylor was about to leave. He was a god and loved there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like Alec Ferguson retiring. And when I got the John Barnes was sold to Liverpool, you know, Mark Falco was going to Glasgow Rangers. Kevin Richardson had sorted Arsenal out. Dave Barnsley had sorted QPR out. And I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know. If I'd have known, I should have had somebody mark my card, you know. But it seemed ideal where I lived not far from the club. Yeah. It seemed the next step move. I was being interviewed by Manchester City. They were still umming and ahhing, but they gave it to Mel Machin, you know. I mean, in fairness, I don't think I would have got that, you know, at times.
Was it difficult watching? Because obviously you left in 87 and then Wimbledon won the FA Cup in 88.
Yeah.
Watching your team.
Yeah, well, that's right. It was great. I wanted them to win it. I was at Wembley when they won it, and they did brilliant. You know, Vinnie and Bess and them come round. They were all showing me the cup, and you know, to be fair to Bobby Gould, he said it was Harry's team, but more or less. And that, I mean, I was that night. The next day, I was with Sheffield United at Barnsley playing Bristol City to stay in the league. You know, it was when the third from bottom played the other, and we lost 1-0. You know, so it was relegation, but it was the best thing that happened because the Sheffield United team were all old. Then there was people who'd been on loan from, you know, Ken McNaught, Phil Thompson, you know, they were all old, so and their contracts were up, so I could get rid of them and start all over again and build a new side.
Can you remember much about Vinnie's half-time speech? The pheasant and the phoenix.
Oh yeah. A bit of an exaggeration that, but it was one of the funny things. We were playing at Everton, and you know, Everton were very direct, although they didn't say that. They were direct for about 20-25 minutes, and then when it got down, they scored, got in front, they started to play a bit different than that. And anyway, we're 1-0 at half time. We're just before half time and we concede a goal, and Vinnie was meant to be marking Van den Hauwe, I think it was, there. He was marking, and all of a sudden he don't go with him or whatever it is. And Sharpie flicked it on and it was in, you know, we're 2-0 and I'm fucking twat because he's going stupid prick. You know, I thought I won't go for him straight away. You know, one or two of the others were giving him some and everything else. But it was well, funny. We came in and all of a sudden, you know, I thought, got to start somewhere. And I said, well, our attitude ain't right. We ain't competing. We're there. And there was a sweep paper on the floor and I've swung my left foot and me it was a slip-on. It's gone flying out, and like if you can imagine, it's going towards the showers and the toilet and everything else. And Bassett sitting next to the door, and I'm thinking, he goes in there. I thought, fucking hell, he can't even stop me shoe going through the door. And he's my goalkeeper. Anyway, then we come back, and then it was sort of like, Vinnie, what happened with Van den Hauwe? He said, well, Harry, I told him Sharpie was fucking his missus. Oh, well, that's very good, Vinnie. Did he then? Pat said, oh, thanks very much, Vinnie, for that. I'm going to do him at this corner. I said, he didn't. He said, yeah, he fucking mugged me, didn't he?
Was it one of them with Vinnie Jones where you could just give him some at half time, give him some at full time, and he'd just take it? Did he ever come back to you and you had a tear up or...
Not really, no, I never. No, he took it. You were, as long as you were right, you know, and didn't say anything stupid, you know.
Could you push his buttons? You know, like
half
time, know how to get him going.
Vinnie was always hyper and ready to go, so you were calming him down, you know, and you know.
I suppose the other way, you had to calm him down rather than...
I can't imagine it. If you get him going too much, you're thinking this could be neck eye, as opposed to knee eye. This next time could be neck eye.
You know, I mean, it was when we played Arsenal Christmas and we lost 3-0, and Steve Williams was there playing for the Arsenal, the Tony Adams, all that mob, great back four, and Kenny Sampson, all that, and Williams was giving it, the planes ain't going over Highbury today because Wimbledon are playing here, sort of comments like that. We'll put the ball in a bucket of ice and give it a go. Anyway, we've lost 3-0. The referees give them a diabolical penalty, but they score a great free kick. And anyway, as we're coming off, Dave Williams is there. I said, you little prick. I said, you've got to come to Plough Lane because you're fucking going to get it, me, and everything else. And that, Vinny's gone, yeah, you're right, you Welsh prick. I said, he ain't fucking Welsh. I said, you tick. Anyway, what's happened is we get him, got his Williams in his. Yeah. Anyway, he went over his head anyway. Anyway, when we've come, we played and that, and I've sort of given it. This Williams had plenty to say. We don't, let him know we're about and this, that, and the other and everything else. Yeah, there. Anyway, Vinny gets sent off, didn't he? And we're down to 10 men, and Merce was making his debut and scored and everything else. And he said, and then we come and he said, oh, Harry, I'm sorry I've let you down. My mum and dad are upstairs. I've let them down. I've let the team down. And I said, fucking right you have, and everything else. I said, well, what was you doing? He said, I said, what are you doing smacking Rixie? He said, was that Rixie? I thought it was Williams. Poor old Rixie took one.
So has he just laid him out? Has he just laid him out?
Yeah, he's given him a clump, and he,
Fucking mistaken identity.
The Welsh prick.
Is it right that...
It's good because Kenny Sampson tells me a great story. He said, they're defending, and he said, and all of a sudden I'm found I'm marking Vinny. I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is a bit of a mismatch and that. So he said, Vinny's got his hand around me, back of me neck, saying, fucking hell, you little dwarf, you're marking me.
Did you know that whenever you left Wimbledon, whichever club you went to, that's the kind of changing room you wanted? Players and characters like the lads at Wimbledon.
Yeah. But, I built a new team at Sheffield United, built based on that. Because the good thing, as I said, the players that were there when I went, they were a poor team. I only had to keep a few of them. And none of them really survived the trip, all the way back, because we came up straight away from the third division and then the second division and back in, Chris Wilder made it. He stayed through that there. There weren't many. It was a new team, Brian Dean and a Garner. I went back to Watford for a Garner, and Dean had been recommended to me by Kinnear, and he was at Doncaster at the time. And then we had Dane Whitehouse and Mitch Ward, Sheffield boys in the youth team coming through. I brought Beasley in, Brian Gale I brought in.
You took a lot of that Wimbledon, the names that you're saying.
Yeah, John Gannon and Simon Tracy, the keeper. We got them from Wimbledon. They were cheap, so...
Try and rebuild that mentality.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we did. We had it. Yeah, it was different, but very similar. Oh, good bunch of lads, they were.
How was Dino with that mentality? Because he's completely opposite of a Millwall type, Wimbledon type player.
Yeah, he is, yeah. But he bought into it, in a different way. He was his own way. To be fair, Fash nobody messed with Fash at Wimbledon. He said, look, I don't mind being part of the gang, but just leave me alone. And he didn't get involved in any of the pranks. You with me?
I just watch from afar. I just watch all the chaos happening.
He didn't with it, but he was part of it. If it was something where it kicked off on a Saturday or anything, he was all right. You with me? But
speaking of the pranks, who stole Eric Dooley's wooden leg?
Oh, well, no, that was after we beat Wednesday. I don't know. Well, yeah, they may have stole, but the one that I'm thinking about, we beat Wednesday 2-0 home. We were down the bottom, and we beat them 2-0. And Derek loved it because it was Wednesday and he'd fallen out with Wednesday and everything. And I remember Frenchie and John Greaves, our physio, and that we're all carrying him. And he says, if anybody says I'm fucking legless, they're going to get it. And, he was a character as well, Derek. Great fella. And that,
What happened when you got sent off against Udinese?
Udinese, yeah. But that was that Anglo-Italian Cup and that.
Yeah.
Well, I think Blakey got sent off first, and then Charlie Hartfield got sent, and then Hodge. And then what's happened is that the referees come over, I give him the wanker sign. Then I was sent off, wasn't I? And then the funniest part was that they got a free kick, weren't they? Wally's gone with, fuck now, the wall's already in the dressing room.
Thing is, you can't even escape that. That's universal, isn't it? No matter what country you're in, the wankers straight red.
So I put Wally in charge of that, and it was a sign. We didn't really need it as such, to go to those games, and he used it with the younger ones and various things, to go that.
Much crack on Billy Whitehurst.
Oh, Bill, yeah, I got on well with Bill, I mean, you had to be careful how you treated Billy, but he was, the thing was, Bill, you knew he sort of, lived close with the drink and all that, but he never, when he came into train, he trained, you never knew that he was either pissed or not, and he got on with it, and he'd fall out. He used to train, and if you didn't train properly, he used to, give him some,
Train as you play.
Yeah. And that, and he was there. He was serious. I mean, one morning we had Paul Wood on the right wing. Paul was quite skillful, but he won these like Beagle. He wanted too many touches and everything else. And we're doing a crossing practice and a bit of phase tacking play. Anyway, Woody's gone to go to check to play it in. Bill's made a run, and Woody's turned and gone out the other way. Then he's come back and then done another one. Bill's gone in again, and Woody's not there. And then it's finished. He said to Woody, "You do that fucking again, you're going to get a right-hander." Now, I don't mind going once and I don't mind going two, but don't take the piss, he said, because I'm just ready to go to get on that cross. Anyway, Woody did it a couple of times, first of all. Then all of a sudden he did it, didn't he? And Bill's gone, "That's it!" And Woody's fucking legged it down the track. Woody's gone and Bill's chasing him down up the university. Bill's chasing him. I said to Woody, "What do you think?" He said, "I was shitting myself." He was good, Bill. He's and that,
Ever bring his greyhounds in?
Bump.
Ever bring his greyhound in to treat?
Yeah. I think that French used to treat it with the ultrasound.
Weren't even switched on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. See, I mean, you go there. I mean, you look back and you could sort of say that's the, but that was the way you built things, and you got the lads going, and it's a difficult way to manage, but you've got to be out of control. They've got to know when you're playing and when you're not. You with me? And so, when you're off, you accept that there's their characters. Bill was a character. I forgot when one of his says, "Oh," I said, "Where are you going now?" But he said, the goalkeeper at Hull, I forget what his name was. They were great mates. He said, "Oh, I'm meeting my mate. We're going to go for a Ploughman's." I didn't know the Ploughman's was including 10 points. But
We speak a lot about managers knowing how to deal with certain players. So would you treat Vinnie Jones differently? You're saying you could have it out with him. Would you treat him differently to Billy Whitehurst? When you said you need to know how to manage him? Yeah.
I mean, Bill was okay. You could dig him out. If you were right. I mean, if you were talking bollocks, he wouldn't, have it. But you treated him. Yeah, I mean, all treated him. As if they were criticised, if they weren't doing what they were needed to do, really. I think that was the trust that I think they knew I was honest with them, really, I didn't try and bullshit them really at all. And I think, if I told them, because the one the good laughs was Chris Kamara. He'd had a couple of shit games, and I didn't pick him, and he said, Harry, why have not, picked me? I said, "Well, you've been shit, haven't you?" and everything else. He said, "Oh, yeah, this, that." And I said, "Look, don't worry, when we play Wimbledon, you'll be back in." So he's gone home happy, thinking we're playing Wimbledon the next week. It was about 4 weeks time.
I can't remember who told us a story about Billy. In the was it Reza Ruddock was giving Brian Dean the run around?
Yeah, no, we said when we played Spurs, and it was rearranged. They were playing Arsenal in the FA Cup, and they wanted to get, I think, somebody out of suspension or anything like that at all, and everything else. And I said to Bill, I said, your mate Razor, just, because Deansy was carrying a little bit of an injury. I said, have a word with Ruddock and sort of tell him that if Deansy gets injured, then you're coming on to put him in Sheffield Infirmary.
And it worked.
And so he's gone up and I told Ruddock, Ruddock's gone, you think I was going to argue with Bill? Fuck off.
Did you ever see him properly switch? Billy?
Bill?
In the tunnel or anything?
I can't think where he completely lost. I don't remember him losing it, but, you knew that he had respect, and done it, I remember when I was in the fourth division when we were battled Hull for the promotion and everything else. Colin Atherton, there was Marwood there, Billy Whitehurst, McLaren, and everything else. And all I said was to our team, don't wake Billy up. Don't upset him. Don't do anything stupid, with him. Just challenge, get on with it. Don't get involved with him and everything else. Anyway, we're drawing, 1-1, I think it was. And then Stevie Galliers couldn't resist it because Galliers was fast and he was a bit like Kante, like the Chelsea boy, very quick. And he's gone in and he's done Bill, isn't he? Now Bill's come in, but Beasley and Mark Morris came off after the game. You little twat. Beasley got a cut eye. Mark got a cut eye.
Take it out on them.
Yeah, all of a sudden, and I gave him, you stupid. I said, you woke the barbarian up, didn't you?
This part of the episode, gents, sponsored by NordVPN.
You love it, don't you, John?
Yeah.
You don't know what VPN is. You can bounce your location anywhere in the world. You want to watch your sports, you want to watch your shows that you're watching in another country.
Netflix, just your television programmes.
Or you want to watch something from another country.
You watch the Ryder Cup?
Oh, aye. Yeah, that's the most recent thing when I went away. I watched the Ryder Cup.
Perfect.
Lad on the sun lounger, Ryder Cup, boom.
And then the other thing is the security. I don't think we talk about the security.
No, we don't
enough.
talk about it.
You don't want people muscling in on your
Passwords and whatever.
Get on all your passwords. Think of everything you want to keep.
Yeah.
Lock and key.
This is the best in the business, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And if he's saying it,
And he knows.
he means it.
It's like having a big Icelandic gripper.
Mm-hmm.
A Nordic bouncer.
Yeah.
Watching over all your
Great analogy.
all your bank details, your passwords. So what you're going to do, go to www.nordvpn.com/Cosh and you'll get an extra 3 months free. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee.
All risk-free.
All risk-free.
I think we've covered all bases there.
Yeah.
Well done, Chris.
Can you remember when you got up to Scotland late in your Lexus?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Refresh me on that one.
Bees has said all the team were up in Scotland and you've turned up on your new Lexus and then they've pinned you to the car, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was quite regular sort of thing. And that, I didn't tell him I got a new car because Bees, I remember him coming in with a contract he was talking about, and he said, and I'm offering him 1,500, this, that, and the other. And he goes, I can't live on 1,500. I said, so I shouted out to my secretary, Eileen, get Tony Pritchett at the Star on. Beasley can't live on 1,500 a week. Everybody in Sheffield's earning more than 1,500 quid a week. They'd be feeling really sorry. No, Harry, no.
He said, ask him about when you let Charlie Hatfield look after your fish.
Oh Christ! Yeah, we had a sort of a pond where my missus had koi carp and all this, that, and the other, and we went on holiday, and they needed a big thing. So somehow, I don't know how it ended up, that Charlie said he'd look after them and come round and feed them. Yeah, well, that was a big mistake, wasn't it? Nearly killed all the carp, didn't it? And my missus was going to kill me. But The other one was Charlie as well. Again, in the street, my missus is driving down Ecclesall Road, and she's pulled up at the lights and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, Charlie's waving. He's opened the car and snatched her handbag out of the car. Your players, it's ridiculous. Well, the things they do, they're not human, normal people.
What, he's just done that for a laugh, like?
Yeah, laugh, yeah. But she wasn't expecting it. She frightened the life out of her. He said, Chris, you've got to keep your car door locked. There's unscrupulous people about.
How did you deal with relegation?
Pardon?
How did you deal with relegation?
Diabolical. Last game of the season, yeah. Most devastating.
That one in particular?
Yeah, devastating. Chelsea. Chelsea. I made a mistake. I should have put Corky on as sub instead of Jamie Oiland. And Corky could have said to Wisey, we need a point. Wisey would... Wisey crossed it. He said, if I'd have known, I'd have given it to Graham Lasso, and he'd have killed the pieman behind the goal.
So you'd have said to Dennis Wise, look, we need a point.
They were playing in the cup final. It was 2-2. Wisey wouldn't have crossed it. He'd have given it to someone else or done something, and the boys all stuck together. He didn't want Wimbledon to go down because they're Corky and all them odds are all his mates, weren't they?
Got to ask about David Barnes.
Yeah, great lad. He was a nutcase as well, Yeah. Well, they were again in that Sheffield
great
team.
Lad, nutcase.
Yeah. He was a good one. He was brilliant. He was, good lad, Dave, and everything else. And he was a character, and that, He had I never saw it, but he had this trick where he set light to a toilet roll and walked around and it crept up to his arse. And I never saw that one. I heard it on the...
Not a skill, is it? Really?
He was there. Bradshaw, again, good Dane, Mitch Ward, Gailey could be frightening as well. Gailey, I nearly got killed by him at Tottenham. We were winning and we lost we drew 2-2 and Gailey made a mistake or something. He came in and all of a sudden I've had a bit of a go at him and he spilt tea all over himself and he's gone for me and I fucked off into the toilet pretty sharpish because I thought I'm going to get a right-hander here.
Just like talking about some of them characters and how you built the changing room, just going on to Forest, because we've had a few of the lads on, haven't we, from that team, especially like Tank and and Andy Johnson.
Andy Johnson, yeah.
Them two together.
Oh yeah, lunatics they were, yeah. We celebration where we've got the celebration dinner for the things. Andy Johnson's on our table. He started eating his wine glass. My missus gone, is he all right? And she said, yeah.
I think that's a more impressive trick than the toilet roll.
Yeah.
So can you remember when you first signed Tank Alan Rogers and you were going on the plane?
Oh yeah. Well, he shouted out, "We're going down," didn't he? Oh, man, fucking hell. But actually, I wasn't on the plane. I wasn't. That was there was two split up. Sorry, there was I think that was Frenchie was on that one with the plane, and and the old Liverpool Scouts. Oh, we're going down. I've seen this spot before. And the old Scouts, whatever. That was a terrible Scouts, but he was.
But did you think, oh, I've got another one, lads. I've got another lunatic.
He should have done better. He should have done a little bit better. He did all right for me, Tank, but he was a character. He was lively, he stood up for himself and, he was all for it. And Andy was there, we needed a bit of, the Forest side all seemed well behaved to me, all good pros, Stoney and, I think Pierre looked down on them too, he couldn't quite work out what these two were doing playing football,
Did you sign Pierre?
Yeah. Well, no, I signed him for Forest, but I was director of football. Piercy was the manager then.
Is that when you first come in? Because were you...
Yeah, we
Pierce was manager, but then you took over.
I was director of football with the knowledge that I was going to take over in the summer because, they sort of knew that Piercy would want to go and move on and play somewhere. So, we signed Van Hooydonk from Celtic and Alan Rogers, I found him. Stevie Cotwell marked me card about him, Alan
Rogers. Give you a warning?
Said he was a good lad.
Right.
Yeah, was a good player, yeah.
Van Hooydonk was a good player, but I'm guessing looking back, it just didn't fit.
He was a good player in a good team. He won the good player in a poor team because he didn't like running about, and he was self-centred, selfish. You know, he'd have got beaten up in the Wimbledon team, but he wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. You know, with his attitude. You know, and the way he wanted. If you want working with him, he wasn't interested in helping in anything else. He was brilliant at free kicks and penalties and that. You know. But very difficult, as I say. You know, he was a luxury in a good team. He was did other things, but when you're under the cosh all the time, like we were at Forest in the Premier League, and both times when he signed that year for Piercy, he only scored 1 goal in about 16 games. Yeah, and then. You know, he could score, but you've got to get the ball to him.
Was he happy? Was he a different person during that championship year?
No, he was always moaning everything all the time, you know, always criticising, you know, the balls are too hard, the pitches are too hard, the pitch is too soft, you know, etc. He was...
Just wondered if during that championship year when he's scoring for fun, whether he's happy then. Yeah. It's a bit easier.
But a lot of people forget Kevin Campbell got 23 goals, Pierre got 30, but Pierre scored about 6 or 7 penalties. And in free play, Campbell got all his goals in free play, whereas Pierre got them on free kicks. He was good at free kicks, and don't get me wrong, you know, but a difficult character.
How did you go about that, considering you've managed some of the most outrageous characters in the game? You must have been just desperate to say... On your bike?
Well, I wouldn't. You know, I mean, you know, I made a mistake when he went on strike, and he came out, and the press there came on and sort of said to me, you know, he'd gone a couple of weeks into the season, you know, Pierre's offering an olive branch. I said, you know where he can stick that right up his arse. And that wasn't. I shouldn't have done that. Really, we should. You know, we should have gone over to Holland and got Pierre to come back pre-season and promise him we'd sell him in the next few games. You know,
but we didn't. Did he go out Anderlecht or somewhere?
Well, they all thought when he come back we could sell him to Leeds, but then the Ritsdale days were numbered then, and he ended up going back to Vitesse Arnhem at the end of the season for £3.5 million. You know, so we could have got £7 million if he'd have come back that season.
But you must have been fuming when Kevin Campbell got sold.
Yeah, absolutely. It was done behind my back. Yeah, it was done behind my back.
How did you find out? Was it a phone call?
I spoke to Irving Scholar after I was weak. I'd got him and Scott Gemmell to sign contracts, and I phoned into the club a week later and found out that Kevin hadn't signed and was going to Trabzonspor. Was it?
Went to Turkey.
Yeah, and of course Kevin found out he could get cash. What we were paying him, he could get that without tax. So it was appealed to him. But then Kevin told me after, he went in 3 times to sign his contract, and the secretary said, oh, it's not quite ready, we've got to get this and that and the other. And that was it. And that was the problem. Irving Scholar wanted to keep Van Hooydonk, and didn't want to keep Campbell. So it was like interference from which I was never used to.
It's because just craziness, isn't it? Because you've lost your leading goal scorer, or second leading goal scorer, and that's caused your top scorer to
we started the season. We got no Van Hooydonk on Kevin Campbell, would we? You know, and we've got
a lot of goals short, aren't you, to start the season?
Yeah, not much. You know, we started quite well, but then it was always going to be a struggle because we didn't have the money. They wanted to sell. Colin Cooper wanted to go back to Middlesbrough. I made a mistake. I listened to Ray Wilkins. He told me that we should have done Quasi. We signed, and Kev, he wasn't up to it. Quasi, you with me? And I booked Ships, who had done brilliant for me at Palace, but had an absolute nightmare at Forest, and Dougie Freedman, both done brilliant for me. I mean, we were leading 2-0 in 3 separate games at half time, and Dougie in every game of those 3 had a golden 1-on-1 to score and didn't score any, and we drew all those 3 games 2-2. So we all of a sudden done ourselves out. We got 3 points instead of 9 points, and that. And amazing. And Dougie's a good finisher. You know, I'd seen him score goals much better than those, but he didn't. Ships just had a mare. He did brilliant for me at Barnsley, you know, but just didn't work at Forest. They promised me when, if we got up, there'd be about 10 million to spend. It don't sound much, but it was when was it, 1990 or whatever it was, that was going to be where the reality was they needed to raise £2.5 million because the share price hadn't gone well. They had one of these, when football was on AIM, they were going. So, so we've lost all of a sudden there, and Colin Campbell, our sort of captain at the back, sort of thing. So, it was one of those. But
were the players that you had to deal with a lot differently?
Oh, yeah, I didn't try and get in the mentality of like that. I mean, I got a Tank, I brought them into a bit of and Jeff Thomas, they were good lads. They got on. And
but some of them players seem more like players that you need to put an arm round rather than give them a rocket.
Yeah, no, Jeff Thomas is all right, Tank was all right. And I'd passed that stage there because it's hard work doing what I did at Wimbledon Crystal Palace is real hard work.
Yeah.
You're managing on the tightrope and that, and you're working at it all the time and that, and the game was changing a bit more, No, Forest was a different club. I was gutted, I suffered because of Van Hooydonk, really,
What did he want? Did he just want to leave, or?
Well, he wanted what I wanted. He said our team wasn't going to be good enough, and I agreed with him, But for him to go on strike, he's completely out of order.
How did the other lads react when he came back?
Well, a few of the foreign lads were okay, but, Crossley, Bassett, Jeff Thomas, Stoney, Woney, they weren't really having him. Yeah. You with me? I think I heard a story about Crossley going in the restaurant and Pierre was in there and he's had a right go at him.
Yeah.
I think, it would have been hard for a foreign player to play in my Wimbledon or Sheffield United side because they have a different culture and they would have found it very hard. I'm not saying they couldn't, but perhaps some Scandinavians could have done and perhaps a few Germans, but it was, it wasn't their idea of, how they wanted to play. Because the way we played when, where we were strong and we went man for man, bit like Brighton do now. We went man for man, you did help out on that, all that, when we played Forest and, that first season we were up, they're talking about teams getting relegated now and Sheffield United have only got 1 point from 5 games. We had 4 after 17 games. We had 4 points. So we went into December and we were bottom of the league of 4 and we beat Forest 3-2, and we ended up finishing 13th in the league. Yeah. We had a great run in the end of February, March, and into April. We won 7 out of 8 games.
How did you change?
Just kept the spirit going. Kept the spirit. I mean, when we scored at Aston Villa, it was about the first goal in 9 hours, and all the fans had come on the pitch, and they're all jiving. The players are jiving, and all that sort of thing.
9 hours.
As I say, we stayed up. And that we always did. Well, we had the one where Frenchie decided after we'd had 2 years of, having to do it from Christmas onwards, we decided to have a Christmas party at the Lane in August. And we all got dressed up in Christmas outfits, Christmas jumpers.
Because you'd always been shit up to Christmas.
That's right, yeah, shit up to Christmas. So we decided that we've got to hypnotise the players and everything. That if Christmas is out of the way, we've got to start playing. And it worked for one game, and then we went back to normal. But it was all dressed up, Father Christmas. It was baking hot as well. We got all the curtains
sweating in that beard.
And that, so we had characters who joined in, or in with it.
Somebody asked about bringing a ballet coach in at Barnsley, ballet dancer coach.
No, I don't remember that one. No. I'm not against it, but I don't remember
Leicester?
that. Unless
Leicester was it?
I don't know.
No, I didn't have a ballet. We had a psychology guy came in at Sheffield United. He'd come with us a couple of times and things like that. We had Jocelyn, the Olympic sprinter. Jocelyn Hoyt Smith, wasn't it? She was a Sheffield girl. She was a good girl, and and she did. And she had a banter with the players. They're all there. She was doing stretches and stuff with them. And some movements and things. So we was always there. We had our own sports psychologist all back in those days. We used to cut our videos up and show them the opposition, and make our own videos. We had it at Wimbledon. We had videos in 1984.
That would have been quite ahead of the time.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, way above our time. We were always looked on as if we didn't know what we were doing, but we knew.
We're a bit like the Wimbledon podcast, really, aren't we?
Well, I mean, in actual fact, the guy who did all my video cutting up at Wimbledon was a new Don Howe. Don Howe come down to see what we were doing, and he was coach at the Arsenal. And that, we were cutting up videos of AC Milan, the way they played, and all little things, and videos of our own game and everything else.
Did you enjoy your time at Barnsley?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did.
Who was the penalty taker, Craig Ignat or Darren Barnard?
Darren Barnard. He hadn't missed a penalty, Darren, I think. He hadn't missed, he was there. There was no doubt. There was no sort of blaming him, just whether he's a bit nervous and it's just there. I mean, the problem was, that give them a lift,
Playoff final, right?
Yeah, it gave Ipswich a lift to think, oh, come on, they were going down the tunnel. Come on, lads, that's it. If they were going down there 2-1 down, but that's not to blame. I mean, Ignat, they were there. There was ships could have taken a penalty. Darren hadn't missed a penalty that season for us.
Yeah.
I'd been there, and Barnsley come in. I was looking to get back in. I mean, as it happened that day that I'd signed for. Barnsley agreed. Sheffield United knocked on my house that night, wanted me to go there, back to Sheffield United. But I said, no, I've shaken hands with John Dennis. I've done that now. I can't pull out now.
Yeah.
And what I should have done was when I had the chance to go to Blackburn in the November, and I turned it down to stay at Barnsley. I should have gone to Blackburn. I made a mistake then.
When was that? Who just left Blackburn then? What
Brian Kidd.
Ah, right,
yeah.
Yeah, Kiddie. And Souness got it later. I should have made a mistake. The money was a lot more than Barnsley as well. My missus has never forgiven me for not doing that.
How do you look back at your time at Leicester?
When I went there and, the team, there'd been some crap recruitment. Emil Heskey had been sold. And, they'd brought in Akinbaye, who, a good lad, worked hard, but didn't have it, really, and Benjamin the same. They'd spent about 8 million on them two. You with me? And the side was there. Peter Taylor, who I like a lot, but his recruitment during that period was, wasn't very good. There was some, a lot of
shite.
There was some players there, and it was always, and they were bottom sort of thing. It was a good club, Leicester. I enjoyed it. Then I stepped aside to let Mickey. They wanted a young manager, really. Harry Redknapp had recommended me for the job, and I got it. And they liked the idea of me bringing Mickey, but the idea was Mickey would do it a year or so later. But Mickey got a little bit out of order and started moaning, and they wanted Mickey to be manager. So I stepped aside at the end of the season. He got promoted the following season, but got relegated the following season.
Was that difficult personally to step aside and still be part of the club?
I was upset because I could have got promotion with Mick. We'd have both got it the following season, which was there, Portsmouth and us, and then it would have been right for Mick. If Mick had been there, we could have had a long time at Leicester, I think, if we'd have got it right. I went to director of football, and Mick left Leicester and he didn't have to. The board wasn't after him. They were mid-table, but he got upset because he put Dave Connolly on as a sub and then pulled him off right near the end, and the fans were saying, you don't know what you're doing. And Mick skin wasn't as thick as you thought it was.
Right, yeah.
And he cleared off early, really.
What's that director of football role actually then? What do they actually do?
Well, there's all sorts of things you can do. I think the director of football is part of the board. He's there to help them with the manager and advise them on the football side. So the manager wants to buy this player for that. You're there to say, well, I think we can get him cheaper, or I don't think. You can make points. You don't go against the manager, but you are working for the club. What you think is right, and you advise the board, and they can make the decision themselves on what you say and what the manager wants and that. And again, to be making sure that we are producing your youth players and everything else. You're like a sporting director. They call it director of football, but they don't really, a lot of the board members never know what the director of football stands for. And there's a lot of people, slag it off like Harry Redknapp does, you with me? Yeah. Although he was director of football at Portsmouth and got fucking Rixie the sack. and took over himself.
Did you ever have to personally work with a director of football, or
No.
You've always just done the role yourself?
No, but I was experienced to come through. I knew what there. I didn't need a director of football particularly.
Oh, was that at Southampton, that under Woodward? Redknapp, Dennis Wise. I think you were with Dennis Wise, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't director of football. He was brought in. Harry just used to ignore him, basically.
That must have been a bit awkward.
Yeah. Well, Woodward, I didn't get on with Woodward. I could see through him, Me and him clashed, a few times. And that when I become caretaker manager, I called a meeting and told him he had to come to the meeting. But he went away to Rupert Lowe, the chairman, and I said, no, and Rupert's rung me, no, you can't bring Clive in, he's elite, this and that, What happened is, I was convinced if Harry hadn't gone back to Portsmouth and we'd stayed there till the end of the season, Rupert would have sacked us two and he'd have given Clive the job.
Didn't end well.
No. He had Rupert's here, and Rupert thought, ex-public school boy, this was the way forward and everything else. And Clive really didn't understand football, know. Mm. I'm not saying
he was never going to work really well coming from a...
No, it become apparent, even with the rugby players didn't take any notice. Clive is a facilitator. He goes round and finds the best physio, the best masseur, the best doctors, which is good. He facilitates that rather than being, the tactics and all that.
Yeah.
Who's your best ever signing, in your opinion?
Well, I've had a few, and I believe bloody, Vinnie at Wimbledon for 10 grand, wasn't it? Winterburn, Dennis Wise, Brian Dean, 30 grand, went for 3 million. The
best strike partnership.
Oh, I don't know. I never thought about that. I mean, they've all been good players. Kevin Campbell, I liked. Good player, Kevin. I like Kevin. I like Dino, was a great fella. Tony Agana for a couple of years was electric for us. Didn't quite last the timing. Corky was a great player as well. Underrated. Corky wasn't silky, but he could score goals. He was bright. He scored loads of goals for Wimbledon.
Who's the most difficult player you've had to manage?
Van Hooydonk.
Yeah.
Just because you couldn't make him happy, and that I mean, he came in after one game, and Bobby Houghton, who was my assistant, and he criticised us and says, "You lot ain't very good at Mick Kelly at coaching." He said, "You need to go over to Holland and learn how to coach." Well, Bobby had been Malmo in the European final against Forest. You with me?
Yeah.
And Bobby had managed China and all this. He went fucking apoletic, didn't he?
Who's been your favourite owner to work with?
Well, Sam was fun, but he shit on me. He paid me absolute peanuts.
Yeah.
He was on there. He let me. Well, he trusted me. I ran the club.
Yeah.
I made him
Left
millions.
alone.
Yeah, he's lucky. Nosey, when I worked for him there, Ron was all right, people thought, but Ron wouldn't pay me the dough. He wouldn't pay me. So, I nearly went to Manchester City, but ended up at Forest, Irving Scholar I liked, but he was, too poked his nose and wanted too much in there, and he interfered, which I could never forgive him for, and that.
But Elton.
Who?
Elton,
lovely bloke, but John, he was a nice bloke. He was too interested in looking at birds' tits and that.
About the same fella,
yeah.
I don't know. Elton John.
Elton John, Elton was great. He treated
He doesn't like tits.
I mean, he treated me well. I mean, I tell the story where I come home from the cup final and it was Everton and Liverpool, and I've drawn up. My missus opened the door. I said, "Oh, that's funny. I've got front door key." She said, "You ain't going to believe who's here." I said, "What do you mean I ain't going to believe who's here? Who's here?" No, I couldn't see any flash car or anything like that at all. She said, "You ain't going to believe it." Then all of a sudden, Elton come leaping out of my lounge. He had a fucking funny hat on and, the gear and that. And I thought, fucking hell, Elton John. I said to the missus, "Ain't you told him we ain't got a piano?"
At least he knocked me upstairs, didn't you?
Yeah. He was good. He wanted me as manager. He saw me, and he taught me, and he insisted he wanted to know the next day. He wanted, because he was going with a team to China on Tuesday, on Monday or Wednesday, and he wanted to do it, and I got talked into it really. And when you've got somebody like that, I wasn't ready to deal with Elton. You with me? And
did he know anything about football or?
Oh yeah, he's not stupid. I mean, he looked after me. They paid me my contract. He bought the car. It was Graham Taylor's Jag, and he bought it from the club to give to me. And he then paid for me, my missus, and 2 kids to have fortnight in California, Disneylands, and all them. For our holiday. So he was a brilliant fella, really. He was just distraught. And that, he bought. He gave my missus one of his fur coats that he'd No, I sold it. No, I only just sold it a year or so ago. It didn't go for much.
As Elton John's not just on carbon.
Yeah, he's got to Chris. Sorry about them other bastards who gave you an hard time, but I love you.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Dave. Top man, thank you very much for coming on.
Well, the one story I'll tell you, which is a bit embellished, but it's when he sacked me. It was Christmas, and I knew that it was looming, and Ron Nose rang me just before Christmas and said, "Look, I've recommended you to Reg Brearley at Sheffield United. His manager, Billy McKern's gone. I've told him, he's rung me up to ask who I'd put as manager." And he said, "So I suggest you go and talk to him because you're going to get the sack. It ain't if, it's just when now." Thanks, Ron. Don't beat about the bush. And Reg rung me over the Christmas period and said, "Look, we're not going to do anything till the new year." And I said, "Well, it's looming and everything." So we've got out the Christmas, and I've left a few of the favourites out, and I've given people like Timmy Sherwood their debut. And when things don't go right for you, we're winning at Portsmouth. They get a spawny goal to make it the 2-2. Tottenham the same. They get a fucking offside goal and it's 2-2. So we just didn't win the games. And then we're playing Manchester United on New Year's Eve, and Tony Garner has rang riot. We lost 1-0. How we lost 1-0, I do not know. In the end, they were playing 5 at the back. Viv Anderson was chasing Tony around, and we lost 1-0. You think, bleed now. Anyway, I get home, and the phone goes, "It's Elton. Harry, it's Elton." Yeah, he said, "I'm round John Reed's house." John Reed didn't live too far from where I lived, in a big house. There was he had a little chiffon halfway up his fucking drive. Which his house. Took that long. Anyway, he's showing off. I said, and my mother-in-law and father-in-law were there. So I said, "This is it, for dinner. I've got to go." So I've gone round there. Derek, his driver's driven up and everything else, and he's coming. Anyway, we're talking, and he said, "Hey, the boys were brilliant. Have a glass of champagne, Harry. The things are hard, and this, that, and the other." And so I think, fucking hell, how's he going to do this? Anyway, we went into a lounge. It was magnificent. It was like cream, couches, and it was lovely all round, and there was cushions everywhere. Anyway, so we're sitting down. He said, "Harry, you see that cushion that's beside you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We're going to have a game with that." I said, "Oh, are we?" He said, "Yeah, it's like a dice." He goes, "Come on, Harry, 1 to 5, you get a sack." I said, "No, odds ain't very good, are they?" And he said, "No." I said, "But what are you going to do if I get a 6? He said, "It's obvious, Harry. You have another fucking throw." So we got pissed, and I went home at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Sacked.
Yeah, sacked. Yeah. Amazing. I bought this boy Trevor Sinclair from Reddit, and who scored goals for fun. Couldn't score a fucking goal for me at Watford. They asked me to take the team against Hull on the Saturday, and it would be after the game in the FA Cup. Anyway, we're 1-1, and it's pissing with rain and everything else. Last minute of the game, Trevor goes round the goalie, slips it in towards the goal, turns away to the crowd, Then we realised the fucking ball was stuck in a puddle on the fucking line. It ain't gone in. And I thought, well, I'll be fucked. I couldn't even win that game. And then Trevor, they didn't fancy him at Watford. They sent him to Middlesbrough, where Bruce Rielt was manager. We went up to Middlesbrough. They beat us 6-0. We beat against Sheffield United. He scored 4. I said, you wanker. I said, you couldn't score a goal to me and then you destroy me. So there we are, boys.
Oh, brilliant.
Man, thank you very
Thanks a
much.
lot. Really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
The new look John Parkin.
Crisp.
This has changed your life.
I think I'm going to go for the all oversized. Do I look slimmer in it?
You do?
Yeah, yeah.
The oversized box shoulder.
Yeah.
Bosh.
This is
Unbelievable.
The new you, John. I
Just when
like it.
The white don't really match my teeth.
Do they do an off yellow?
Can't have it all. Nice.
So we just had Greg Halford on, haven't we? And he
Yes.
kindly
Very
brought
kind.
us 3 of his finest
New
t-shirts.
range. Looking good.
Who's going to used to fighting over the medium?
Oh, Matty's claimed it. Medium's too big for me.
Fuck off. We always get into weight, don't we? Always get into weight. So much weight and clothes.
But yes, and he's going to sort some discount out when that.
Yes, we've got when his
Comes
episode
out.
comes out, he's got a code for all the listeners. He's got some good gear, hasn't he?
He has. I do really like it. If you wonder, I did that a few times in the episode. If you're wondering where we are, we are.
You can probably read it in the background.
The valley.
We're
in the valleys.
We've managed to. What's the word? Blag.
I'd say Blag's up there. Hustle.
Hustle.
Overstayers welcome
Yeah,
by a
absolutely.
good 35 hours.
So we recorded with Sasha Illich yesterday, and he pulled a favour and said, "Don't worry, lads. I've got. I've spoke to the sporting director, commercial director at Charlton.
We can
Sorted
get
your
it.
box
We
out."
can get in a box for an hour.
Yeah.
Was the
Oh, Sasha
How
will
it was
record for a
sold.
couple of hours. Oh, well, it'll be all right then. We can extend by an hour. That was yesterday at 10 a.m. We're still here.
And it's what? half 1, 2 o'clock?
it's 1:45.
So we came in at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning and we're still here at 1:45 Wednesday afternoon.
We infiltrated the catering department, didn't
Yeah.
we? Because the head of, I don't know what, operations, we'll say, he was livid that we were still here at 4 o'clock yesterday.
We
he-
went down and asked if we could use the room again today. And he's like, you said you were only going to be an hour. You've had 17 beers.
Yeah.
You've emptied the snack basket.
And it's not our responsibility, them executive loungers, but that's where I saw the opportunity.
Loophole.
Because he kind of like disarmed himself and just said, oh, let them sort it. But she was
She was lovely.
She was unbelievable. So when I spoke to her, she just said, yeah,
No problem.
Just a simple,
I'll get in there in the morning, clean it up. And we're like, no, don't bother about cleaning. She went, oh, I'll go and clean up. Just leave the keys behind reception and it's yours for as long as you want it. So
It's nice to be nice,
Name
isn't
your
it?
name, but Charlton Athletic Catering Company.
Yeah. It's absolutely
Thank you
spot
very
on.
much.
So, like I said, when we got at the car, I don't know how we do it because if you're booking a room in London for recording,
300-400 quid
Yeah.
in it.
we've rocked up at a former Premier League ground like we own the job.
Yeah. We've got the chef running the length of the stand to get 8 bottles of water. Yes, 2 seconds, sir.
We just strolled in like Ocean's 11, didn't we?
But yeah,
Incredible. Yeah, so
been very helpful.
we dropped on
So
again.
thank you, Charlton.
Yeah, very much
Not
appreciated.
really know much about it.
Dave Bassett,
Dave Bassett, yeah.
great memory.
Unbelievable memory.
Unbelievable memory.
It's what age?
Nearly 80, is he?
I love it when you ask questions that none of us know the answer to.
And you probably know that we don't know the answer. That's the thing. Nearly 80-ish, I would say.
Between 75 and 80. Unbelievable memory.
Legend of the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nobody who's been in football for the last 50 years who will not know Harry Bassett.
Yeah. A lot of spittle in this episode, but good none, all the same.
Yeah.
So we were in the heart of Canary Wharf last night, weren't we?
Yeah.
Last 2 nights, in fact.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Usually we go Premier Inns, don't we? Holiday Inns, like budget but comfy.
Run of the mill.
Yeah. But for some reason, they were extortionate prices in the centre of London. So we went for a change. The Britannia International. I don't know if anybody's stayed in the Britannia International before.
Weird.
Weird gaff, wasn't it?
We got. What time did we get there, Matty? 11? 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, cute.
And it was like a zoo in the flipping thingy. Foyer, wasn't it?
It were like Disney World, wasn't it? People just walking in all different
People
directions.
just lying down on the couch.
If anybody's looking to write a sitcom, then I recommend spending a couple of hours in a Britannia International foyer. So many characters.
I think I've put my head on the block, and I think I saw 5 ladies of the night just doing laps of the room.
Really?
I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
No, we had to book I had to book my own room because he wanted ours. He had all 5 in there.
There was a stern Russian guy walking through with it, and his missus looked angry, and she had big plump lips.
We stayed in the 2 nights. We saw that exact couple in exactly the same position in exactly the same clothes at probably exactly the same time the night after. It was like flipping the Truman Show.
The angry Indian with no shoes on.
He lost credibility though because he was arguing about something, and they were trying to, because the queue was that long, they were trying to move him to the side of the hotel.
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, I'm staying here."
And he went straight to the front, didn't he?
5 seconds later, he's bottled it and gone back to his room.
I went praying for him to stub his toe. You know, because he had no shoes on.
He was that angry he forgot to put his shoes on.
Just came down shouting at the people behind the
We got a
counter.
room with a view, though, didn't we?
Oh, aye.
It was weird that.
Yeah.
Even just like
Well, the only rooms available, no windows. But they make up for not having a window by putting you a seafront, a sea view mural all on one wall.
there was the option for a window, but it was £20 extra.
Oh, yeah, true.
So what we did is we put
Why would you get a window?
exactly. I don't want to see out.
Couple of boats sailing past. Even saw a shark out of our window. Did you have a shark on your house? There's a fin.
I think somebody must have just drawn that on a shark. But now put the wave music on. It was always going to sleep at side of the beach, wasn't it?
Small bed though.
Oh.
2 very, very
I would say
I'm a fine.
small singles.
this table is wider. Can't turn over.
Fuck me, aye.
I don't
Definitely.
know how you got all 5 in.
Oh, thanks everybody for subscribing. That we put a plea out, didn't we, for some extra
Only
subscribers?
500 off, haven't
Yeah.
Only 500 off the 100,000 now, and we said we'd give a shirt away. Have we got a winner, Matthew?
Matty's doing the draw as we speak.
Simon Short.
we? Congratulations,
hero.
Well
Simon.
done, Shorty.
I wonder who he supports.
So if you get in touch on Twitter or
Instagram, Facebook.
What if they haven't got any of that? Comment.
or comment, yeah, but
Yeah.
we need to get in touch, don't we? Direct.
Yeah, but I'm sure you can tell us.
Then
Somehow.
I'll have to give everybody his email address.
I tell you what I'll do. I'll just give Brownie's number. No, well done,
So yeah, drop
Shorty.
us a message on Twitter or Instagram, and I think we go again.
Yeah.
For that 100,000.
Although
Another one.
we've had a bit of an increase in subscribers, but 20% it's dropped again.
I think you're making this up
What makes you say that?
because it keeps going down by 10, which is convenient.
No, it was 26 last time.
Was it? All right, I'll lay off then.
Only 20% subscribed.
Yeah, if you've not subscribed, subscribe.
What happens when we get to 100? Like, we party?
I think we get a
Chinese?
trophy, like.
Do we?
Yeah.
Who gets the
We
trophy?
celebrated
Do we have to
last
fight
night,
over
yeah.
it? It'll look nice on my bedside table.
Do we get one each?
Who-
I don't know.
You set the channel up. You're going to get
Yes.
it, you bastard.
Ka-ching. Be there on my mantelpiece. Or we could do like, when you get Man at Match and you have to bring it back every week when you're a kid.
Oh, when you were up?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Every week.
Month on, month off.
I don't know who the sponsor was, but somebody sponsored a game that Connor Salmon was involved in, and he got man of the match. And the prize was a pizza. And he stood holding a 12-inch pizza, and he looks absolutely fuming. I'm going to have to get the picture because it's... But he just stood there. Why'd I go on to that?
I don't know. The good old days have gone now with champagne, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, man of the matches, man.
Yeah.
We've had bikes.
They have. They just have a little trophy now, don't they?
I've
Pink
got
and
some
green.
of them.
Powerade. Remember the Powerade
Powerade.
ones?
Have you ever got the Powerade Player of the Month?
No.
I knew that.
Player of the month.
I knew the answer, yeah.
What did you get for that?
A Powerade, a big P, a big plastic P. Sure I did. I've definitely got a player of the month, a Powerade player of the month or something along them lines.
I'd like to see evidence of this, 'cause I think that could be a lie.
I can fucking guarantee you.
Next episode,
You have got,
Yeah.
get a
you've
picture.
got form for lies.
They don't call you Johnny Liar for nothing.
Honest John. Always got a career known as Honest John.
We went to Andrew Lonergan's party and he got greeted as Johnny Liar.
What else has been happening?
Nothing. Quiet times, Chris.
Had a nice holiday.
Keeping our head down.
Oh, how was your holiday? Yeah.
By the way, the pool weren't a problem.
Was it not?
No. We got there, we went to a pool first day, then second day we went to the beach. The beach was absolutely beautiful. Waves were probably a bit too high for kids to be in, but they enjoyed it in
Chucked him in
waves.
anywhere.
Put them in any.
Aye, kicked him in. Get in there and risk your lives.
Jumping in waves.
Well, there were actually lifeguards on
on
the
beach.
beach, yeah. So that's how it were could get a bit lively. We went to the beach every day.
What's your bathing schedule? 'Cause I'll tell you mine before. I go 30 on my front, 30 on my back, pool, and then repeat.
No,
Pool to cool down.
no, I'm not. I ain't got such a. I'm not a. I just lie down. If
Yeah,
I pull out my back, I'll have it back.
Two-tone. You know,
What?
You're going to be white on your back.
Thinking of it too much about this. Eh?
30, no, just like even
Go on
tan.
holidays.
You want an even tan, though?
No, I'm not. I don't put any moisturiser on at all, neither after sun or
After
like that.
sun.
No,
Cream.
fuck that. Just-
Do you put sun cream on though?
oh yeah, but I'm on about like to keep your tan and that.
No.
Well, you're guaranteed as soon as you get on the plane, start flipping peeling. We had a bet between us, didn't we, with a weight. I don't even think we need to explain, but you've been on holiday. You've been on holiday. And I haven't been on holiday. So I've lost the most weight.
Wait, 'cause I thought it'd be all right.
Yours was heavy. I know
Scotland,
it
but
You-
every
round
day
here.
was fuck off.
It's your cheeks every time.
But like a little chipmunk coming in this morning.
Any other business? What's your bathing technique? Do you have one?
I don't think Matt is a bather.
I think you're.
It's too much energy.
I don't think many people do have this rotisserie.
Set your time on your phone, half an hour, then you know.
Oh, have a Solero, shut the fuck up. Now and
Right. See
Thank
you next
everyone
week.
for watching, listening. We'll see you next week.
Keep your eye out
Adios.
for these belters.
And subscribe.